Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And PP said, I think I want to be in a video today, so he's going to be in the video with us. So I get so many emails on my Dear Peter email system thing. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I had said like a month and a half ago that I was gonna every Friday do a Dear Peter advice video. And I've kind of fallen off of that, but I've some weeks done 2, some weeks done 1, some weeks done none. I'm gonna try to get back to doing them always on Fridays. So I wanted to address something that I get asked a lot in my emails. One of the things that's interesting is a lot of people ask me like mental health questions and addiction questions and things like that. And I try to answer as much as I can, but you guys, honestly, this channel is just about my personal experience. It's not a professional channel. I don't want to be neglectful in giving advice that's not appropriate or whatever. So a lot of times when people email me questions that are a little bit more serious, I say, I really think that you should seek out some professional help. So I hope that nobody takes offense to that when I say that. It's not me trying to put it off. It's me wanting you to get the help that you deserve. But one of the questions that I get asked the most is, my boyfriend just broke up with me, or my girlfriend just broke up with me, and I don't know how to get through this breakup. And I think it's such a difficult thing, you know, in our lives when we're going through a breakup. One of the messages I got last night, I don't know why this one was so endearing to me, but this guy reached out to me and he said, I started watching your channel with my girlfriend because we would, you know, I would come home at the end of the day, we would sit down, we would eat, and we would watch your channel together. We would watch your vlog, we would watch every channel that you have out there, we would watch all 4 videos on a daily basis. It was something that we shared every night. She introduced me to you, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, she recently left me, and now I found myself watching your videos alone every night because it gives me comfort going through this really hard time. And he was like, can you give me some advice on like how to get through this? I don't know what to do. And he was like, I miss her, I still love her, I don't really understand what happened. She just said that she wasn't in love with me anymore and she didn't want to be in a relationship with me anymore. And that is so difficult, but that is exactly what happened with my first relationship. My first boyfriend and I had dated for like 5.5 years. I actually thought things were going really, really well. And I knew that he started getting interested in doing other things. He was like going to circuit parties, which are like, in the gay community, they're like dance parties and things like that. And he was doing a lot of that. And with his brother on the weekends, he wanted to be a DJ. And our lives just started going separate ways. Like I was wanting to stay at home and read and go to 12-step meetings, and he was not, if that makes sense. And we were both of us very young at the time too, you know? We met at a very interesting time of our lives. I was recently sober. I was just a year sober. You know, he was like, if I was at the time that I met him 23, he was 2 years younger than me, so he was just 21. You know, and I think it was a really tough time. Like he hadn't really been able to like go out and like, you know, meet a bunch of people and meet guys and date around and stuff like that. You know, it's like he all of a sudden started going out, then boom, he was in a relationship. And he's a great guy, and we're still civil towards each other today. And, you know, but at that time, I can remember, I shared this on here not too long ago, that he just got up and like walked into the kitchen, and I was like, what's going on? I mean, this was in the moment of like being intimate. And it's embarrassing for me to share, but he just like walked into the kitchen, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, I'm not in love with you anymore. I can't be in this relationship anymore. And I was like, oh my God, like in that moment, I felt like every bit of air, like just completely left the planet, like honestly. And I just looked at him and I was like, I'm going to my mom's house. And I will never forget, I came to my mom's house, which is now this condo that I'm in right now. And I just sat there and I said, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, Mom. And she's like, you're gonna be fine. And I was like, Mom, like, he just broke up with me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't know my life without this person. Like, we're together every day. We get up, we go to bed together every night, we eat dinner together every night. Like, we had a dog together at the time. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna, I don't know how to live. Like, nobody's taught me this, right? And she's like, you're gonna be okay. People go through breakups in their life. It's tough, but you're gonna make it on the other side. And I was like, no, I don't think that I will, you know, like, I don't know that I can deal with this. And, you know, that was in early sobriety for me. I mean, I was still like 5 or 6 years sober at the time. So me drinking or using was not a response that I could have to that, you know what I mean? And it was weird because I wasn't angry, and I wasn't like really sad because I kind of knew it was the end. Like a couple years before that, we had gone on a vacation with my dad and my stepmom, and I remembered sitting on the beach, and he was like, do you want to go on a walk? And I was like, no, I'm just going to sit here. And he like went on a walk and went down to the edge of the water. And I remember I was like holding this book and I like held it up and like covered him. And I was thinking to myself like, this would be my life without him. And then I put it down. And I don't know why it's like this weird memory that I have of that moment that I almost kind of was like at that time, like I was kind of wondering what my life would be like without him. And I think that, you know, I'm a creature of comfort, and so I was so used to being in a relationship, I didn't want to not be in a relationship, that I almost was lying to myself about how unhealthy the relationship had gotten because we just weren't happy together, and that's reality. And, you know, by the time that we were all said and done, I knew that, and I was okay with it. I was still sad, you know? I was still sad that it didn't work. I remember asking my mom about, you know, the divorce and whatever. And I said to her, like, what was your immediate response, like the day that the divorce papers came, like when it was completed? And she said, I just was an emotional wreck. And I said, why? Like, you know, you knew the marriage wasn't working. It wasn't. She goes, because there was a moment when we were so happy that to imagine that it was just all over, she was like, it just was so devastating to me. And then in my last relationship that I was in, you know, I kind of saw it coming. Neither one of us had been happy for a really long time. I knew it was just a matter of time. I wasn't willing to act, but I knew that if he put me on the spot, I would say what needed to be said. And that's exactly what happened. I had worked all day on a Sunday, and I came home, and I had my bag on my shoulder, and I was like, he was sitting watching TV like this, and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And he was like, we're either going to make this relationship work or we're not. Like, what do you think? And I remember I just started bawling immediately, and my bag fell off my shoulder, and it was just on the ground, and I looked at him and I said, yeah, I think it's over, and I'm really sad about it, you know? And he and I both started like just bawling uncontrollably immediately, but we knew that it was over as well. And like a month and a half, 2 months after that, you know, after I had like gone out with my friends and had a good time and all that kind of stuff, I wanted that relationship back. And I thought that we could do some things to fix it. It was so far gone at that point. Had we gone and gotten counseling 3 or 4 years before, I think maybe it would have been saved. But I don't know, like in retrospect, we're such different people. You know, being in my marriage now with my husband, and I'm like, we have such amazing boundaries, and we just, I think like, you know, like Alex always explains it like this, like we're very different human beings, but we are very much in love with the same things, and we think exactly the same way, and our long-term goals are the same, and our philosophies about life are the same. I can't say that about my past 2 relationships, you know? We were very similar in our likes and things like that, but other than that, like we were very different. Like our philosophy about the world, the way that we treat people, the way that we handle situations was so completely different. But like 2 months later, I remember I called him one night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I said, I miss you, please come over, we can make this work. And he said, listen, you wanted me to be gone, let me get over you. And I was like, he's like, don't call me anymore. And I was like, okay. And I was like, he was right, you know, like it's over, like it's over. And I think that getting through a breakup is what's the really hard thing about it is, okay? Is that you are grieving the loss of that person almost like they died, right? Except they're going on with their life and they're continuing to live over here on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, which is why I tell everybody, get rid of the social media. Block them all. Block their number. Be done with them. It doesn't matter if you're friends with their family unless you have kids together and all that kind of, it just doesn't matter, okay? It's going to be too painful for you to see their stuff on Facebook and Instagram. And if they say to you later, why did you block me? Say, it was too painful for me to see. I just couldn't see it. That is the one thing that I think that whenever I talk to people, they're most resistant about doing, because it's like the final thread, right? Plus, they want to keep a tab on what that person's doing. It's just not healthy, you know? It's just too painful, and we live in a world of social media today where you basically can see somebody's every move. And for a lot of people out there, like they deliberately put stuff out there because, oh, you know, I want John to see what I'm doing on a Friday night so that he gets jealous of me and he wants me back. I mean, it's so deliberate, some of it, right? It's really sick. So just stay out of it. Block that person. Don't see them. And say to yourself, listen, you know, be honest with yourself. Was the relationship meant to be? If it is workable, reach out to that person. Let a week go by. Okay, don't be afraid of what's going to happen in a week, right? You're not going to save everything in 24 hours. And reach out to that person in a week after you have thought on it, after you have sat on it and really thought on it, and say to that person, you know, listen, I really care a lot about you. I love you. I really think that we can make this work. But I think that we're going to need to go to counseling. I think that we're going to need to sit down with another person. You know, is it worth it to you, or do you want to just walk away from this? I need to have closure one way or the other. Now, they may laugh at you and go, yeah, we had closure a week ago. Did you not get that? Or they may say to you, I've really thought about things and I miss you too. Let's give it 6 months. Let's go to counseling and see what happens. And if that's the case, then you haven't just walked away. But don't live on false hope. Don't continue to tell yourself you're going to get back together when you're not. Don't do the booty call mess, okay? The booty call mess when you hook up on a Friday night because somebody got drunk and you missed the person, you call them up, and even if alcohol's not involved and you call them up and you miss them, hooking up does not equal getting back together. Okay, we've all done it. It's a mess. You don't want to get involved in that. And you're just going to get your feelings and your emotions all hurt all over again, right? When it's finally said and done and you know that person's not coming back, you need to accept it. Look in the mirror and say, I had a really great time with this person. I feel it was an honor and a privilege to have spent some time with them in my life. And now I deserve to have the best life possible. It's time for me to move on. And it's time for me to move through this experience and take from it what I've learned. What are the positive things I learned from this relationship? What are the negative things that I don't want to, repeat in my next relationship? Take some time off to get to know you. I always tell all my friends, take 6 months or a year to, to yourself, to travel, to be with your friends, to really get to know who you are. Because until we have something for ourselves, we don't have anything to give to somebody to begin with, right? Take that time, really get to know who you are. Really, think about what you want in a partner or a mate the next time around. Don't say, I'm never dating again. I'm never going to meet anybody again. Don't say that stuff, okay? That Debbie Downer stuff. Just don't. Say, when I'm prepared, I will go back out there and start dating again. And I believe that when I'm ready, the right person will appear in my life. And I'm a believer in that. I really, believe that full-heartedly. And, but you also have to be willing to accept when something is over. It's done. It's not, you can't go back and fix it. It would be great if that love of our life we could stay with for the rest of our lives for 60 and 70 years, but those golden anniversaries don't happen for everybody. They just don't, And I've been through some really treacherous breakups in my life where I thought, I'm never going to get through this. I'm just not. And look at me on the other side, And I hope I don't have to go through that again. I hope that's not my truth or my reality down the road. I just really don't. But I do know this today, that if that ever happens to me, I can get through it. I can make it to the other side and I'll be okay. I just hope that isn't my reality. But, none of us wish it. None of us wish for that. But if you do go through it and you have gone through it and you are going through it, know one thing. You will be okay. I love you guys and I'll see you later. Bye.